Hey, what's going on? It's Stokely from Sauce on Delay. I just tried to record a while ago, but the app wouldn't let me record until I updated the app. I forgot what the name of the app was before, Anchor, which is now Spotify for podcasters. Spotify for podcasters just had an update the other day. I think it was on Monday. Anyhow, a lot of strange things. Well, not strange, but whatever. I haven't been keeping up with my aesthetics. I haven't been doing my waves. I haven't been pressing my clothes. I have not been shaving too much. Just my car being out of commission. It's back up now, but during that time I was pretty zeroed in on that issue. Maybe I've overblown the issue by focusing so much on it, which I lost sight of a lot of things in that process. I'm always talking about my car, but it's part of my independence. It's almost part of my identity now, but I shouldn't attach myself to material things that much. But it definitely is something that I significantly depend on to get me to work, to pick up my son, to go to the supermarket. I need to commute. I need to go multiple places in each day. I need to go. I want to do my Uber Eats deliveries. So it's something that I depend on a lot. It's almost as important as having a phone. It's probably second to the importance of having my phone now. The phone is not high up in the importance of things. Neither is my phone nor my car aren't tantamount and most important things in my life anyway. But anyhow, just adding that. But I was just listening to a YouTube post where the title of the YouTube post something that says former drug dealer talks about something. I wanted to play it and record while we were talking, but I had to close it, so I probably lost it. And I wanted to share that, but I had to update the app, whatever. So basically what this gentleman was saying, this former drug dealer was saying, is that the society that we're living in isn't giving people the ability to help themselves. Now, there's social services here to help people, but it coddles them, in his opinion, and basically makes them unsustainable without the system propping them up. Instead of giving them some accountability. For instance, he's saying people who are mentally ill are on the streets harming people, taking people's property, etc. People who have come from broken homes are, exercising, those demons and creating crime in the streets as a result of their upbringing, their poor upbringing or whatever. But irrespective of their poor upbringing, irrespective of their mental illness, they're harming people. They're hurting real people. And what he's saying is that the institutions, especially the legal system, as of late, refuses to institutionalize these people, refuses to institutionalize the mentally ill, refuses to institutionalize the people who are, I don't know what to call it, repeat offenders or generational criminals, I would guess, or people suffering from poor upbringing or whatever. Irrespective of their poor upbringing, they're hurting people. So they should be separated from society because they're exhibiting antisocial behavior until such time that they agree and make a commitment to participate in society in an equitable and fair manner. Now, we don't like people that treat us unfairly, so why are we tolerating criminals and the mentally ill treating us unfairly? They have to be made to understand that their behavior is not friendly. Their behavior is not social or to a level that is fair to the other participants in the society. So he's saying, this former drug dealer is saying that people need to be held accountable. Yes, help them, but also make them aware and make them turn themselves around. Let them do the work to turn themselves around, and make them do the work to keep themselves up and sustain themselves. So I totally agree with that. But on another related note, a gentleman that I used to work with, probably about 15 years ago. Yeah, a guy I used to work with 15 years ago. Wow, time flies, man. The guy I used to work with 15 years ago, he was always eccentric. We would have so much fun at work because he was so funny. And I thought he was so funny. And a lot of times when he's talking with a straight face. And we used to have some conversations. Majority, a lot of them were like, locker room talk, which is one of my favorite things to do. But I remember he used to roll his cigarettes. He used to buy his own tobacco, get his rolling papers, his big bamboo or whatever it might be, and roll up his own cigarettes with his tobacco. Young guy too. He was I think he's younger than me. I think he's younger than I am. So he was also a rap musician, and he did a lot of legitimate work. He had a few mixtapes he put out. He had been on some tours. Also, it's not like a major big celebrity tour, but he's toured. He had some measured success, I would say more than most people in music. A lot of his content is inspirational and traditional hip hop, like the traditional boom bap kind of sound, like a kind of the early 90s, I would say, kind of like a Daz Effects kind of thing, a kind of Black Nubian type of thing, a kind of Mos Def kind of sound. That old school hip hop, not even the old school hip hop. That was probably the prime hip hop. Like after the breakdancing parts ended and the gangster thing was about to start. In between that, there was like this boom bapping sound, like the special ed type of hip hop. Anyhow, so I was on Instagram and they suggested an account to follow, and I said, "Oh, this is him." So I followed him, and I didn't really, I just followed. I didn't really look up on his page or anything like that. But eventually, he made a post, and it seemed like, no, you know what? I did go on his page, and it seemed like he was in San Francisco. So I was like, okay, that's good for him. He's on the other side of the country. He's doing it should be all right. But then he made another post where he was walking on the street and he was talking, and he's saying, he wasn't saying anything that was that I could understand. He was speaking as if someone already understood what he was talking about. But I didn't go to the history of all his posts to see what's going on. But eventually he made a post recently, over maybe about a week ago. And he said he's been homeless for the past 2 weeks. Now, when I knew him, his parents had moved to Puerto Rico and had left him a house somewhere in the Queens area. I don't know exactly where. But it was all... He had it all to himself, from my understanding. He was working for the government. I was working for the government with him at that time. When you say work for the government, it sounds like police, but anyway, we were working for a New York City government agency. We were both working there. I was an intern though, and he was a direct hire. He was an employee there. I was just an intern. But we used to work together, have a lot of fun together, a lot of laughs. Oh my goodness, so many laughs. so sometimes I laugh so much. It's like I just go home and think about the stuff that we would talk about, and I just bust out laughing. Now I can't remember because it's 15 years ago. But he's so eccentric. So anyhow, in his videos, I went back into his videos now. After I saw the video where he said he was homeless, I went back into his videos, and he was explaining that he believes that there is an organization or there is some entity that has experimented on him in his youth while he was sleeping, that there's things growing out of him, that there's things coming out of him, there's things that people have implanted or done experiments on him. And personally, I was very concerned about him. Even going to sleep last night, I was concerned about him. But I believe in helping people from where they are. Don't help them from where you are. Don't go to where they are. You know what I'm saying? And I was really thinking that I'm such a messed up person and I'm such a messed up friend, but I'm about survival at the same time. So anyhow, I was like, oh man, because I could find him somewhere to stay. I have somewhere that he could stay, but I couldn't do that to myself. He's not moving in his right mind. So anyhow, he's exhibiting schizophrenia. So anyhow, he left his number on his Instagram, so I called his number. He didn't pick up. He called me back. I said, what's going on, man? It's me from so-and-so. Remember we used to work together, blah, 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 blah. He said, how do I know that it's you? So he thought that I was a CIA agent pretending to be me, or a CIA agent who had basically interrogated me for information and was able to hold a conversation about certain subject matters with him and build, and impersonate me. Anyhow, so the whole time we were talking, he was really resenting me even speaking to him. He was very polite though. He was very polite, but he was saying, listen, he said to me that what I'm doing to him is wrong. Now, I hadn't done anything to him, but he believes in his mind that I am an agent working for the CIA, trying to do something to him, trying to monitor him, trying to get information from him, trying to hear him speak, all these things. So our conversation didn't go anywhere. I spoke to another buddy about getting him somewhere to stay, and the buddy told me of a homeless services organization named Breaking Ground in New York City. But since he didn't really appreciate my call because he thought I was an agent, we didn't end up having a productive conversation. And then he said, he thought that, like I said, he thought that I was an agent. So he said, you know what, since this phone call is not, basically paraphrasing, he said he didn't feel good about the phone call and he's going to get off the phone. And I said, all right, man, take care, that's it. So one thing he did mention during the whole conversation is that he said he loves weed, he loves marijuana. Now, I already spoke about the fact that marijuana is associated with schizophrenia. He is exhibiting that schizophrenia. I don't know if that's something from his formative years. I don't know if that's something that developed post his use of marijuana. I don't know his other issues. I don't know his other drug interactions. But it would kind of, line right up with that. And, people always associate marijuana with paranoia. But what it's not paranoia. It's schizophrenia. So it was, it's kind of sad, but my humanity, I'm just freestyling now, I'm just talking now. My humanity is so gone, I have to almost force myself to feel something about it because I can't deal with it. he's suffering. He's living homeless on the street. Fortunately, he said he's on disability, so that means that he is getting some resources somehow. He's getting some money, or he has a EBT card, or he has something. So, because I asked him, how are you eating? How are you drinking? So, in that way, regarding sustenance, he has sustenance, but I was concerned about where he's living. He said he's living on the street. I said, why don't you get into the shelter? He says, he said something. He says, there's no such thing as homeless people, which is maybe a poetic thing where people say people are unhoused. They're not homeless. They're unhoused. So, he tells me there's no such thing as homeless people. So he's saying also that whatever institution he's going to go into, they're going to be police there. Now, I couldn't really intellectualize it. But at the same time, listen, I'm not going to go where he is and save him and pull him out of the pit that he's in, because I could be pulled into the pit that he's in. Now, he seems to be a good person from what I know, but one of his videos, he says he was in a place, he was in a location, and he had to leave that location, and maybe even got locked up because of some assault issue. So I don't know if he has a propensity for violence, or he has flare-ups of violence. Anyhow, but even if he wasn't violent, I still wouldn't put him in my house, even though I see this man suffering. So that makes me feel bad about the kind of quality person I am, that I wouldn't be able to help him even though I have the facilities. That's something that I always dreamed about, housing a homeless person, with me in my house. But that's not logical. It's not realistic. Anyhow, so mental health issues are real, and I remember this guy. We had so much fun at work, so much fun, man. I mean, he's still alive though. He's still kicking about, but trying to find an alternative to an institution, and he scoffed at that. So anyhow, man, so that's all I'm really talking about today. Thanks for listening.